Hey y'all, what is up? It is that time of the year. That means I've had this piece of shit for 1 year. So I thought it'd be very appropriate to bring you back to the first place I did a review, out here on my covered deck. Hopefully we'll get some rain, but I don't think so. I know a lot of y'all are here because of the e-bike thing. I'm not going to say obsession, addiction, whatever, the e-bike thing. And I appreciate it. I'm glad you're around. Please stick around. We're going to have more good fun over the next year. Those of y'all that are new, welcome. Please stick around as long as you can, all right? And I've got something like 150 videos on repairing and modifying and bitching about this bike. So do a search. You're going to find it on my channel. All right, so 1 year, 3,345 miles. I've got a whole long list. I'm kind of organized, as you can tell. My first impressions when I got this, and this was, I think the 28th, 25th, 21st, or something like that, of July 2020. My first impressions on the bike, it was heavy. It was heavy as fuck. The brakes were inadequate. I know what brakes, I know what a two-wheel balance, turning, and all that stuff is supposed to feel like. The brakes were inadequate. The front suspension stock was inadequate. Plain and simple. It said it was a suspension, but it wasn't. The tires. Now, I'm still talking about the first impressions. The tires, those stock Innova slicks were weird, were the best thing I could say. I don't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it at first, but just going down my street and around that turn, I can go faster on my mountain bike, which doesn't have a odometer, speedometer on it, but I know I could still go faster on it with those mountain bike dirt knobbies than I could with those slicks that were made for pavement. I wasn't sure. We'll get to that later. The bike was just too small for an American male. Now, let's put more context into that. 5'11", 185. My knees hit my chest when I'm pedaling on this bike. Second impressions. Now I've had this bike for a while and I'm getting a feel for it. Everything on the bike is of the cheapest, lowest quality, poor design components. And starting back up with those tires, those are just something he bought off a shelf and had them rebranded and bought a couple thousand, 100,000 of them, I don't know, whatever. The forks, half-inch suspension. Legally, that is a half-inch is a suspension. Legally, Toga could put that in a marketing campaign that it has a front suspension. That was my second impression. Toga got me on those goddamn videos on YouTube, where he's supposedly 6-something, and he's riding this, you know, and got a decent extension. I don't know how they doctored that videos. And he's going around doing all real good, and, you know, all this hype, 70 plus, not up to 70, meaning 70 was the top. But this was saying 70 plus. It was saying 70. So to me, and to most linguistics, that means you're going to get 70 miles no matter what you do, and then you'll get something up depending on whether you're race mode or mode 1. Up to 70 means you're not going to get over 70. They're not promising you over 70. Linguistics, right? I knew everything on this bike, as anything on any other bike, no matter how small it is, how big it is replaceable and somewhat interchangeable with more work. So I wasn't too worried at the time. Next thing, under second impressions, was their customer support. I complained within the first month about the brakes, and they replied back in a not so reasonable, but the fact that they replied within a week, it is what it is. But they just sent me videos and links and telling me, oh, try alcohol swabs up your ass or something like that. I learned real quick, customer support was going to be zero to non-existent. It's a Chinese bike. I really wasn't expecting it. That did not change. That expectation was met. So after a bunch of complaining, not hearing from them for maybe a couple weeks now, I sent them a nasty kind of one-line reply saying, are you not going to honor? Because I know to the Chinese, honor, it means a lot in their culture. Are you not going to honor your warranty? I did not hear back from him. But within like 3 days, I had a replacement caliper hose and brake lever that had been clearly, you could see where the paint had been scratched, had clearly been mounted on another bicycle. I still only have one piston of the two working in the front and the back. The next thing I complained to customer service about was the battery connector had burned. It was known to have burned, to be burning, to be a common occurrence. Everybody's got it. I sent them one email, never heard back from them. Still haven't heard back from them actually. As you know, links up there in that corner if you want to see it. I replaced the battery to an XT60 connector. The other day I was out riding and I figured out what happened. Remember all those videos that Toga was putting out on YouTube of them throwing the bike, you know, off a balcony in the shipping box and picking it up and tossing it over their heads and dropping it to see what they could do to make the shipping better? Well, don't forget those videos, because this is one of those bikes. I was literally, I'm using the word literal, y'all know I hate saying literally, the last person to order an Indiegogo bike. I got an email saying the Indiegogo auction expires at, midnight. I waited till 11:58 to order it. There's just something in me saying don't do it. But I waited last minute, I did it. Well, the last bikes to be shipped were the last ones that were purchased. I got one of, if not the last bike. This was a bike that they put back together after dropping it. That's why this back end is all bent in and I got no clearance on the caliper or the rotor, when everybody else have got an extra ½ inch of clearance. That's what this bike is, or parts of it is. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, here is a list of everything I have already replaced on this in 12 months, 3,300 miles. You ready? It's long. Let's start up at the front. Tires and tubes. The entire front fork assembly. Pedals. Pedal extenders. Remember those pedals, if you got anything over a size 7 shoe, your shoes are hitting the frame. The seat, I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do. It has to go. If I rode this at night, the headlight is totally unacceptable. It doesn't put out enough light, doesn't throw it far enough out the road. In motorcycles, that's called outrunning your light. I added the auxiliary battery. That was my choice. I can't put that on anything on the bike, but that's one of the best things I've done. I've been very lucky with the bike, where a lot of y'all have not been. I've had no controller issues, no motor issue. Knock on wood. How about some fake T-Rex wood? Let's be honest. Bafang, if you're from Texas, Bafang makes a good motor. They're kind of like the Toyota of e-bike motors. The battery, that's kind of weak already. The controller, I don't know much about that. I'm just lucky I haven't had any of those problems where a lot of y'all have. I still got a to-do wish list. What guy doesn't, right? You know, on your cars, on your trucks, on your house. Number one thing is a seat. I still want to do the Magura 4 pistons, 4 that work. How would you do that? Like this? And I've got a design for headlights. I just don't ride enough at night. A lot of stuff on this bike, let's just call it bullshit. Toga's marketing genius. I said it. He Honda's good. Someone trained him good. An alarm. They're $7 on AliExpress. I think 12 on Amazon. It's a bicycle. That's stupid. Mirrors. Those are the cheapest, ugliest Mickey Mouse mirrors. If you still got those, club. M-I-C-K-E-Y. Those mirrors are just a joke. They're still in a box. I still got them. Same with the alarm. The turn signals, I left them on. I used them. Then I started realizing I'm on a bicycle. It's a bicycle. Who am I pretending to be? I took them off. Trust me. People know. People can read my hand signals. The USB. That was a marketing hype too. I thought, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. It took me a long time before I was able to put one on my Harley. It took me a long time before I needed one. But who are we kidding? Your cell phone battery is going to last much longer than this is. Your GoPro battery is going to last much longer than that. Your ass is not going to last as long as any of those. Who needs a charging port? Charge when you get home. That was such bullshit. The tires were bullshit. They put a red layer in there. And they're slick with a too sharp of a radius. Link is up there so I can prove it to you if you haven't seen it. Those Innova tires are shit. And listen to this. Bonus alert. The Super 73, the cheapo, that's $1,500 I think, has those cheap tires that came stock on here. And I think they still do come stock. They're crap, they're dangerous. The suspension, that's bullshit. These right here are as low as you can go. These are $9 a set, shipped to you from China. So just imagine how much Toga did not pay $9 for these, because he speaks fluent Chinese. He can negotiate with those Chinese, and he was buying thousands, tens of thousands maybe, of shocks like this. He got them for like $1 a piece. Buck for the left, buck for the right. All in all, I know it sounds like I'm bitching and complaining a lot. I'm just trying to make a point. I ride on the local bike trails. I enjoy riding. I've enjoyed it from day one. This bike has gotten me home every day. I enjoy the throttle at 20 miles an hour, not pedaling, and covering today with an extra battery, an extra 30, doing a 35 mile, 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer, around town once a day. Being able to come up these steep roads back to my house, because I live on the side of Iron Mountain, I do enjoy riding. But I'm going to stop short of saying I enjoy this bike. 3,500 miles, okay? The mods that I have done that I like the best, keep it short. The tires, I love them. I can't say enough of them about these tires in any situation. Forks, suspension. Here, check this out. Can you see that on the front fork? I'll measure it with my little measuring thing here. That is an inch short of the length of my iPhone 11 Pro. Almost an inch short. Call it 3/4 just to be safe. Of suspension in the front. You can see the oil where it kind of gets pushed up on there. There it is right there. The battery wrap, I like that. It turned out good. It turned out as good as I expected. The ape handlebars. I've had apes before on another cheap bike. I like it. I think it's funny as shit. It's not the best riding position by any which way. Doesn't give you the best control of the bike by any way, but it's just, it cracks me up. And then, drum roll, the auxiliary battery. I cannot say enough good things about the auxiliary battery. It is super easy. If you're scared of electronics, this is a perfect job for you to cut your teeth on and really build your self-confidence on. Videos, up corner. Leave a comment if you got questions. Always answer your technical questions. The extra battery has really helped. You got to get one, plain and simple. So the last question is, would I recommend the Juice Bike's HyperScorpion? No, I would not recommend it. And that battery, you got to get a battery. You got to get a spare battery. Where was I? I lost myself. The way it comes, and I'm talking about the HyperScorpion, is a $1,500 e-bike. That's the value of that bike. And I think they're asking over $3,400 for it now? No way. I've got close to $1,000 and not one nickel of it is labor. Because I've done everything on here myself. It's easy to do. Bicycles are built and designed for 8-year-old kids to work on their bikes themselves. That's what us boomers did when we were 8 years old. It's all the same. Nothing has changed. The bearings have gotten better. The headsets have gotten better. But, you know, hydraulic disc versus the old style, things that crimped on the rims. And now they're all electrified too, which is another cool thing. And do your own homework. And I got a bunch of videos that you can watch. They're all on my channel under the Juice Bike playlist. If you're even thinking about buying one of these or keeping one of these or modifying one of these, that's where your videos are. 1 year. All right, man. Thanks for sticking around. See ya.